Tender Joseph, SUMEYA and Accredited Academy. Welcome to our topic today, or our lesson today. So we are just still under the topic resource and economic activity. And yesterday we did urbanization. I think we were winding up on that. So we want to start a new subtopic, that is transport and communication. So we shall start with the transport. We shall define what is transport. Then we shall move on like that. So transport is the movement of goods and people from one place to another. Transport is the movement of people and goods from one place to another. That's what we call transport. Now, we have forms of transport. We have different forms of transport. Number one, we have road transport. Then number two, we have water transport. Number three, we have railway transport. Then we have also what you call air transport. Then lastly, we have what we call cable transport. So we are going to look at these forms of transport one by one. So we shall start by looking at road transport. Road transport. So when we talk about road transport, then we are looking at transportation of goods and people on the land. Then we are looking at, when we come to road transport, we have types of roads. So we have what you call maram roads, also called all-weather roads. All-weather roads. So maram roads or all-weather roads, you'll find them. Then B, we have what we call tarmac roads. Then I think those are the roads we have. So roads can be either main roads, or we have what you call the feeder or access roads. Feeder roads or access roads, they are small roads from the interior connecting to the major roads or the main roads. So tarmac roads are those tarmacked. I know very well that you know the tarmac. Those tarmacked, like the main highway all the way from Thika to Nairobi. That is what you call tarmac road. And when we talk about maram roads, those are found mostly in part of the interior of the country where the tarmac have not been established. So that is about roads. Then we have also, we are also going to look at, we have importance of roads, or importance of using road transport. So number one, importance of road transport, or importance of good roads. So number one, it enables the farmers to take their produce to the market. So we know very well that farms are mainly found in the rural areas of the country. So after the farmers have harvested their produce, they can take them to the market, especially the perishable goods like tomatoes. They go bad easily. So if the roads are good, then they will take their produce to the market with the ease. So importance of the roads, number one, we are saying that they enable the farmers to take their produce to the market. Then number two, enable also the industries to take their produce to the market. Because we know very well after produce have been harvested in the farm, they are taken to the factory or the companies where they are processed. So these industries will also need to have good roads to take their produce to the market. So it enables also the industries to take their manufactured goods to the market. That's point number two. Number three, we have it also, point number three, the importance of roads enables the government to provide services to its people. For example, we have seen the military personnel moving all the way from Nairobi to Mandera. We have also seen the issue of COVID-19. We have seen the government officers supplying masks and other essentials needed by the citizen. So those are what we call the services provided by the government. So if the roads are very good, then at the end of the day we shall find that it is very easy for the government to provide service for the people. Then number 3, it enables the people of Kenya to exploit what we call the natural resources. And when we talk about natural resources, then we are looking at a mineral, for example, talk about Makadi fluorspar. Then also we are talking about wildlife, talk about tourism. Those are what we call the natural resources. Talk also about lumbering in forested areas. So roads also enable exploitation of natural resources that I have mentioned. Then I think number 5 or 4, it enables also people to travel from one part of the country to another. For example, somebody may move from West Pokot County to Garissa, Mandera to Mombasa, so because of good roads. And we know very well when people travel like that, we have what we call the national cohesion or a unit. So that's what you're talking about. So good roads enable people to travel from one place to another within the country. Then lastly, we have good roads also promotes what we call good international relationship. When you talk about international relationship, then we are looking at how our country, Kenya, relate with other countries across the continent of Africa, then across the world. Because we have major roads connecting all the way from South Africa, from Kenya to Lagos, Nigeria, talk about Cairo in Egypt, like Trans-African Highway. We have also the Great North Road. So through this roads connection, then we can see that we have a good relationship between Kenya and the other countries. So that's all about the roads. Then we are going to also to look at what we call the railway transport. Railway transport. Allow me to wrap this. So railway transport, the first railway building was established in Kenya in 1896. That is during the colonial time. So that is what you're talking about. It was called Kenya-Uganda Railway. The main reason for building of this railway was to open up the interior of Eastern Africa. It was running all the way from Mombasa to Uganda, where the raw material for the Europeans could be fetched to the coastal areas and taken to the industries in Europe. So that is what we call the Uganda Railway. Was established in the year 1896 in Kenya, that is in Mombasa, and then reached Kisumu in 1901. So that was the first railway in Kenya. But note that we have the new railway called the Standard Gauge Railway, or the SGR, running all the way from Mombasa to Nairobi. We know very well that was established recently by the current government, which is in the rule. Then we have the railway as major branches. So we have one branch running all the way from Konza to Makadi. Konza to Makadi. So Konza to Makadi, I think this one is used to transport the soda ash from Lake Makadi to the main plant or factory for processing. Then we have also Nairobi, Nanyuki through Murang'a and Nyeri. We have also another one running from Nairobi, Nanyuki, Murang'a through Nyeri. Then we have also another one called Nakuru, Bungoma through Eldoret. We have also Rongai, then Solai. Those are some of the branches. Then the area where the railway starts from is called a terminal. So terminal is where the railway starts from, terminal. Then where the railway ends is called terminus. Terminus is where the railway ends. Then the terminal is where the railway starts from. So that is about the railway. Then after that we are going to look at the importance of railway, or the importance of using railway. So number one, providing cheap transport for bulky goods for a long distance. Bulky goods, when you talk about bulky goods, these are heavy goods. For example, we have said we have soda ash. Soda ash is very heavy. Then also talk about the limestone and also the cement. They are bulky goods. So railway provides our cheap transport for these bulky goods or heavy goods across the country. Then we have number 2, it is also providing safe transport of passengers, because we know very well during the railway, railway is very rare to hear that the railway have crashed down unlike the roads. So that one is a bit safer compared to the roads because the accidents are minimal. That's what you're talking about. Then number 3, providing cheap transport. Also, when we are transporting goods using the railway, it is one of the cheapest form of transport. So that's what you're talking about. I think that is all about the railway. Then next, which I'm going to look at the water transport. Water transport. So when we talk about water transport, then we are looking at, we have what we call inland waterways. Inland waterways. Inland waterways. Then we have also what we call marine. Marine include the sea and the ocean. These are salt water bodies. So inland waterways, those are fresh areas of water like lakes. Talk about some rivers, because some of the rivers are navigable. So that's what we call inland waterways. Then the marine means the sea or the salt waterways like the sea and the ocean. Talk about Indian Ocean in Kenya and so on. So we want to look at water transport. That's what we are going to look at. So important of using water transport. Number 1, provides cheap transportation of goods for long distance. Cheap transportation of goods. Cheap transportation of goods. It provides cheap transportation of goods. We have seen that Changamwe oil petrol, Changamwe refinery is found in Mombasa. So you'll find the goods from abroad, that is petroleum products, they are transported by the water to the refinery where they is refined. Then also number 2, transport goods for a long distance. So railway also, water also transport goods for a long distance. For example, talk about the Indian Ocean where things can be transported all the way from Asian countries, then European countries, all the way to the coast of Kenya and Eastern Africa as the entire. And then number 3, it is also safe. It is also a safe form of transport. I don't mean there is no accidents. What we mean is that it's a bit safe compared to roads. We know very well during road transport has very many problems in case of accident. So this one is a bit safe. That's what you're talking about. Then it also offers what we call, so I think that's all about. Then also promote, promote tourism. To promote tourism. So we have seen very large cruise ship along the ocean bringing tourists all the way from Asian countries and European countries. That's what we call promotion of tourism. Then we have it also promote international relationship. Yeah, it promotes good international relationship between Kenya and the other countries, because we know very well that Kenya import very many things from outside the country, petroleum being one of them, Then also talk about machinery and electronics. They are imported from the other parts of the world. So that one is what we call a good international relationships. So I think that's all about water transport. So we are going to look at air transport. Air transport. So air transport, we are looking at the use of aeroplanes and aircrafts. Aeroplanes and aircrafts. So those are the ones that are used in air transport, where you find that the planes may be used to transport the passengers, the tourists, and some perishable goods like flowers. Then we have also what we call the precious materials like gold or precious minerals and so on. So air transport. But remember, air transport is the most expensive. Is the most expensive means of transport when you talk about transport. So that one is about air transport. And then in Kenya we have major international airports. Number one, we have Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. International Airport, that's found in Nairobi. Then we have another one called Moi International Airport in Eldoret. Then we have also Eldoret International Airport. Moi International Airport is found in Mombasa, not Eldoret. So you'll find also Eldoret International Airport, that's found in Eldoret. Those are about the international airports, you'll find them. Important of using air transport, to transport passengers. So air transport passengers from one place to another. Then it also, number one. Number two, transport tourists. So in other words, we say it to promote tourism. How? Because it transports very many tourists from abroad to the country of Kenya. We know very well tourism earns the government a lot of foreign exchange when it comes to wildlife and tourism. So air transport promotes tourism by transporting the tourists to the country. Then also there is another one for emergencies. Emergency, number three. Emergency, for example, we have maybe a prominent leader, there is maybe a problem of health, so you'll find the planes will rush, then they pick this person to the hospital. Then we have the issue of maybe the outbreak or the current issue like COVID-19. So a person, maybe there is a problem somewhere, so you'll find that emergencies are like they are used. Or somewhere maybe there is clashes, the government can use aeroplane to send the military personnel to go and rescue the situation. Or maybe there is flood somewhere and the people cannot be saved, we can use choppers or aeroplane to save those people. We can also deliver relief foods to the people who are at a problem maybe of floods, and also talk about famine and so on. So that's what you call emergency, things that need. Then we have lastly perishable goods. Perishable goods are things that go bad easily, for example flowers. Then we have also vegetables and so on. So horticultural produce are transported by air because they go bad easily. Those are what we call the perishable goods. We have also aeroplane can be used also to transport what we call perishable goods. Valuable things. Valuable things like gold. Like gold, silver and diamond, the plane can use to transport this from one place to another. So I think that's all about air transport. Next, I want us to move to what you call pipeline transport. Pipeline transport. Pipeline transport is used to transport liquid and gases. So transport gases and liquid. And liquid include what? Oil, products, then you have water. The main commodity transported by pipeline transport, that is water, because we know very well water is found in almost every part of the country. So that's the main commodity transported by pipeline. So that is what we call pipeline transport. So pipeline was established mainly all the way from Mombasa to Nairobi, then connecting to Kisumu. That is pipeline transport, which is used to transport oil from Changamwe refinery oil company to Kisumu, then to Nairobi. Then the tankers carry those, that oil to other parts of the country. So pipeline transport, it transports gases, and also we have the fluids or liquids, just like that. And then important of using pipeline transport, it is cheap and reliable. It is cheap and reliable. So long as you have laid the pipeline under the ground, there is no need of using more money, because it is very cheap, because the pipeline have also already been laid under the ground. So it is cheap and reliable. Then also another one, we have a pipeline is promote also industrial development. Pipeline transport, industrial development, because it transports oil from different parts or from one part of the country to another. It also transports water to different industries and so on. So you'll find that it make industries to develop. That's what we call industrial development. And then lastly, it promote also economic development, where you'll find that the country will go up because of purchasing of oil. So that's tax from the government gets tax and so on. So I think that's all about pipeline transport. Remember, transport fluids and gases. Then the main commodity we have said is water. And then also we have oil as another one, and so on. And then the main reason why we use pipeline instead of oil tankers is that the tankers, they normally destroy the roads. So you'll find that those roads are destroyed by these tankers. That's why we prefer using what? The pipeline transport. Then lastly, we are going to look at cable transport. Cable transport. Cable are used to transport electricity. Cable are used to transport electricity or hydroelectric power. Initially, before the establishment of the Seven Forks scheme, we were importing electricity at Owen Falls in Uganda. But the government came up with the projects of Seven Forks scheme, so we produce our own power. So the main use of the cable transport is to transport electricity from one point to another. And we know very well electricity enables the running of the machine, of the factories, the industries, and so on. So that is a cable transport. And then I think that's all about cable transport. It's just like that. Then